Matt Lauer terminated. One of the lead anchors of the Today Show for more than 20 years is off the desk this morning. The details we're learning about Matt Lauer's firing from NBC News.
Fire investigation. A family is saved but loses its home when fire breaks out. We'll tell you what investigators are saying so far about what happened in Ankeny.
And Sweet Swirls, it's a treat making its debut in Iowa. We'll tell you how the owner of a rolled ice cream shop got his start. It's Wednesday, November 29th. Today in Iowa starts now.
From WHO HD, the local news leader. This is Channel 13 News, Today in Iowa.
Well, Matt Lauer made his first appearance on NBC's Today Show back in 1992 and then joined the Today Show full-time 2 years later.
This morning, he is off the anchor desk and fired from NBC News. We have the details on why the highest paid anchor on the Today Show is now out of a job after more than 20 years at NBC.
Some news we've just learned about in the last half hour, and I think shocking to a lot of people.
Yeah, and no doubt about that. The show that comes right after us, very accustomed to him being part of our show, right? And this is a great big change. It's certainly a wave that has gone across the country lately in these types of allegations and these types of huge repercussions. Not the first major news anchor even. To have this happen to Charlie Rose just recently as well. We will have many more details about Matt Lauer coming up, but we want to go over to Jerry Ann and talk a little bit about today's weather. Good morning.
Good morning. It is cold and dry right now. We've got 21 in Fort Dodge, 19 in Audubon. It's colder than yesterday at this time. We do have a few clouds along the southern border of the state, but you will be noticing more sunshine today and less wind. And the winds will be out of the southeast at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. 35 at 9 a.m., by noon 45, and at 3 o'clock 50. It's about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. You'll want to enjoy the 50s because it looks like next week we'll start feeling more like December. I'll have the latest on the cool down coming up. Right now we need to update you on the traffic situation with Jim Brown.
Good morning. It is starting to get a little bit busy around the roadways. This is I-235 at 42nd Street in Des Moines, looking off to the west, headlights heading into the downtown. There's 7 o'clock shift about 20 minutes away or so. I-235 coming in from the east side. This is Guthrie looking to the north from Guthrie Avenue. Again, headlights heading into the downtown. No delays, still a 7-minute ride from the Mixmasters to the downtown ramps. We'll have an update straight ahead on Today in Iowa.
All right, well, back to our breaking news this morning. We have learned NBC News just announced about a half hour ago the firing of Matt Lauer from the Today Show. After dozens of reports across the country of sexual misconduct from celebrities, politicians, and top officials, Lauer now joins the list of the accused. NBC News Chairman Andrew Lack said in a memo to employees that the complaint, which was made by a colleague of Lauer's, prompted a serious review and represented a, quote, clear violation of our company's standards, unquote. Lack says it was the first complaint lodged against the 59-year-old Lauer for his behavior since he took over as anchor of the show back in 1997. But there was reason to believe it was not an isolated incident. The news was also posted to the Today Show's official Twitter account. They say there, quote, Matt Lauer has been terminated from NBC News on Monday night. On Monday night, we received a detailed complaint from a colleague about inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace by Matt Lauer. As a result, we have decided to terminate his employment, unquote. The president is also tweeting this morning, quote, while Matt Lauer was just fired from NBC for, quote, inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace, but when will the top executives at NBC and Comcast be fired for putting out so much fake news? Check out Andy Lack's past, unquote. All right, it is 6:34, and an Ankeny family is out of their home this morning after a fire broke out while they were still inside. Firefighters were called to a mobile home along Orr Labor Road just before 7 o'clock last night. The home was fully engulfed when crews arrived. A witness said a neighbor spotted the smoke and helped the family escape. Authorities say no one was hurt. Investigators are still determining the cause. A fire also forced people to evacuate from an apartment building on 30th Street in Des Moines last night. It appears to have started in a basement apartment in the 3200 block of 30th.
All of the windows were broken out, and firefighters used flashlights to check for hot spots and to try to locate the cause. No one was injured. North Korea says it successfully tested a new type of long-range missile that can reach all of the United States. North Korea's state-run television announced the missile launch with a special broadcast. The test was its first since mid-September. It came a week after President Trump put North Korea back on a list of countries it says support terrorism, allowing it to impose more sanctions. The broadcast said the new powerful missile reached an altitude of around 2,800 miles and flew 600 miles from the launch point. U.S., Japanese, and South Korean officials all agreed that the missile was likely an intercontinental ballistic missile. It landed in the Sea of Japan. And just hours after the launch, Hawaii reactivated its nuclear attack warning sirens. The 400 sirens across the Hawaiian Islands were last tested back in the 1980s. They will now be tested monthly. If an actual attack occurs, the sirens should give Hawaiians about 12 minutes to take cover before impact.
A brand new after-school activity is bringing in more members each week. The group aims to make a difference in the community. Channel 13's Christina Salonikas explains how one Urbandale High School student came up with the idea. Good morning.
Good morning, Brooke. Hope in Action started this year at Urbandale High School when one student wanted to take the lessons she learned in sociology and put them to use in the community. The group started by creating a free library in the Oak Ridge neighborhood for the community, and now students are working with the Youth Homeless Center, creating coat drives and reading to young students. The main focus is to help serve others, and one member says she already sees a change in her everyday life.
After being in Hope in Action, I notice more things, such as if I have pantry items that I don't use, I see homeless people every single day in the same place, like under a bridge by my house, and I will give pantry items to them, and it just really makes me more understanding of people, what they're going through.
The founder of the group says when the students talk about hope, they mean having a social responsibility to help others and make a change in the world.
The greatest lessons of all. Thanks, Christina.
The president and CEO of Meredith Corporation says a massive merger announced this week will be good for Iowans. Meredith has agreed to buy Time Inc. and assume all of its debt in a $2.8 billion deal. It's being made possible thanks to financial support from the Koch brothers. The billionaire is known for their financial support of conservative candidates and causes. Steve Lacey says the Kochs will not be involved in day-to-day business of the new company. However, Lacey says the merger will be a big deal for Des Moines. He says processes in the new company will be streamlined, which means jobs for Iowa.
Well, it was the second bottom two showdown in a week for Iowa singer Adam Cunningham on The Voice. Team Adam's Adam Cunningham was one of the bottom two vote getters based on Monday night's performances, so he had one last chance to make an impression, and he sang the Lone Star song Amaze to try to stay in the competition. Well, Cunningham was joined in the bottom two by Team Miley's Janice Freeman, and when the instant save votes were counted, it was Cunningham making it through for the second week in a row, so he's just barely hanging on. He joins 9 others now in the top 10. The season 13 winner, by the way, will be crowned in 3 weeks on December 19th. So it keeps hanging on.
Keeps hanging on, and we keep hanging on to our connection to the show right now, our One Iowa connection left. 6:39 now, and we are looking at today's weather with Jerry Ann.
Keep hanging on to warm temperatures.
Yes, we're hanging on. Temperatures staying above average for this time of the year. 40 is where we usually are in the afternoon. We typically start off in the 20s. This morning we are below the freezing point. We do have a cool down coming, and it looks pretty big. I'll let you know when we come back.
From WHO HD, the local news leader. You're watching Channel 13 News, Today in Iowa.